Olivia Munn recently spoke out on Monica Lewinsky's podcast. I didn't even know that Monica Lewinsky had a podcast, but Brett pointed out it's clearly perfect for her brand that she has a podcast where women speak out about things of this nature. She's talked about an experience that she had with a Hollywood studio that bribed her, allegedly, with a 7-figure payout if she would sign an NDA regarding a traumatic incident that she suffered on this film set. She didn't go into detail about what the trauma was, or what studio this was, or what movie this was on. She merely said that she declined to sign this NDA and take the payout and felt really brave doing it.
I do want to point out that eventually Olivia Munn will have her own podcast, and it will be called Munn's the Word.
Yeah, that's clearly...
Like, the name is already decided.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Munn intended.
Money for nothing. Like, all sorts of names.
She told Monica Lewinsky that she turned down an offer worth millions from a studio to sign an NDA after enduring a traumatic event on a movie set. She didn't name the movie or go into detail about the incident. Quote, I had to file complaints with the studio, and there's a lot of other things that go along with it, but it got to this place where I was offered a lot of money, 7 figures to accept their apology and them taking acknowledgement of it, but it came along with an NDA. Not that I would ever talk about it truly because I wanted to move past it all, but I said I'm not signing an NDA, and they said I have to. I just felt it was so wrong, and at this time specifically, this was in the beginning of the Me Too movement and Time's Up. This was like the reckoning, Harvey Weinstein that began it all. This was that time period, and when people were targeting anyone who signed an NDA, saying, oh, you only did it for the money. So I was afraid that my voice and speaking up would reverse any kind of validity to my voice. She was hesitant to sign the NDA because she was afraid the studio behind the movie would leak it to the media in an effort to diminish her voice. After meeting with lawyers, she walked out of the studio meeting without signing the document.
People
Quote,
keep bringing up Attack of the Show. It says a movie set, not Attack
it was
of the
not
Show.
that. Yeah, no, this was much after that. In around 2017, I'm guessing, since she said it was like the Me Too movement was popping off. So I'm sure that at the time, this studio she was working with was incredibly scared of what she was capable of doing to them legally. So they thought better to just, brush this under the rug and give her whatever amount of money she wants so that she shuts up.
Yeah.
She said, I remember feeling so proud when I walked out, so proud of myself. I didn't think about negotiating. I didn't think about anything besides how disrespectful that was. It was the right thing to do, and the people in my life think that I did the right thing and are proud of me for that? Yes. It's not that I wouldn't have ended up with the same decision. It's that I made the decision based on anger, and that's something I had to learn how to rein in and use for my benefit.
Yeah.
But the strange part to me is that you would make this huge stand, this like moral stand to not sign an NDA and not take the money from the studio when you had zero intention of speaking out.
It actually reminded me. It literally, like, my brain is on fire today. So there was a scandal, from what I remember, from the 2019 Predator movie.
Yes, there was. They mentioned it here.
Yeah.
She was on the 2018 Predator movie, and the director hired his friend who was a sex offender to do a scene with her without, I guess, asking her if she was cool with that.
That was a Shane Black
apologizing.
movie. That was a Shane Black movie.
Yeah, he ended up having to apologize to her for that. She was also one of many Brett Ratner accusers.
Yeah.
He was accused of
the guy who's supposed to be making the Trump documentary.
Basically pulling a Louis C.K. on her, masturbating in front of her in a trailer on the set of his movie After the Sunset in 2004. And he really tried to spin that narrative a different direction, claiming that they were dating and that he actually had sex with her and forgot about it.
Oh, is that what happened?
Then In a last-ditch effort to save his own ass before he kind of got blacklisted by the industry, he called her up on the phone one day in 2011, denying her accusation. He was probably recording the phone call. Mm-hmm. And he said that he was just joking. It got blown out of proportion. And he said, but we did date, though, right? Are you really going to say that we didn't date? And he's like trying to get her to say yes.
He's got like a little recorder held up to the phone.
And she here explained it publicly after the fact, saying, I had this feeling he was recording the conversation. When she wouldn't comply with his story, he apologized and asked her to tell her followers on Twitter that all was well. She also remembered that he admitted he was in hot water with Disney and Universal regarding his comments. She declined to tweet on his behalf.
Of course.
He then offered to make a public apology on Howard Stern the next day. And she said, I remember this feeling that was it. That was the ring I could grab onto. I said, yes, tell them that you lied and we never dated. And then he ended the phone call saying, I'm sorry. I just don't know why everyone's so mad at me.
He's like, what,
said,
me?
Because you live your life as if we're all in your movie and everyone that comes into your atmosphere is under your rule. This isn't going to be your moment in your world. This is going to be my moment in my world. And in my world, guys like you go home crying. Damn.
Very, very theatrical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's kind of the one who's making this into a movie in her own head.
And of course, this does connect with this Cameron Diaz story from a couple weeks ago. It was like last week.
You know, what's so bizarre is Cameron Diaz made this whole grandstanding statement about taking a hiatus from her acting career.
I mean, she was saying she was tired.
Back.
I thought she was saying I'm
well,
done.
She decided later on that it would be a hiatus. But she comes back after 11 years of retirement, so-called retirement, to do like a generic slop
Netflix movie with Jamie Foxx.
Spy movie with Jamie Foxx. Like, is this really what convinced you to come back to the big screen?
I mean, those Netflix checks probably go hard.
I guess she just needed to buy a new home in the Palisades. But yeah, she's coming back to the public eye, and she did an appearance on Netflix's own Skip Intro podcast, where she expressed shock over how drastically different film sets feel after her 11-year retirement.
I will say that the Amazon Prime, some of the Amazon Prime shows don't have the skip intro button.
They should.
Whoever invented that should have gotten a raise in stock options.
They should, yeah.
Yeah.
She said, the industry is so different. I definitely have to say, Me Too changed everything. It's palpable. And she's saying this as it's a good thing. She's praising all of these changes that have been made to film sets over the years. She said, you walk onto the set and it's different. It wasn't just the higher ups back then. There was always just that one guy on set that you were like, here he comes again. There were always layers and layers of inappropriateness that you just had to put up with. As women, you just had to laugh it off. Some people you have to be forceful with and put up the boundaries, and others you can't give them the time of day. It's changed. I have never in my entire career had HR come in prior to a movie and talk about what's appropriate and what is inappropriate behavior. And there's a hotline, which Netflix has, to call anonymously to report issues you might be feeling. Issues you might be feeling. Wow, that is amazing. The level of security, of safety you feel as a woman now on set. I never felt that before this film. So she's just thinking this is actually a utopian version of the industry she was once a part of.
It's not that the culture has changed. It's that the corporate has changed. The corporate safeguards are there to protect from the culture that is still the same.
Right, and you're also like, what, 50 now?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're more established, older, and, I'm sorry, less attractive than you used to be. So you have less to be concerned about on a Hollywood film set than someone younger, less known, and less experienced.
I mean...
So there are just as many pervs as there were before Me Too. In fact, maybe there are more because it's easier to hide.
We also know now that like the trope wouldn't even be the older director and the young female starlet. It would be the older woman and the younger man. That's the movie they want to make now anyways.
Right. Yeah, they're obsessed with that whole trope. But it's just, it comes off as so out of touch to say this. She's kind of claiming that Hollywood is just perfect now.
She was speaking at Fortune's Most Powerful Women's Summit. Remember, guys, no matter what day of the week it is, no matter what year it is, no matter what time of day it is, there is a women's summit going on somewhere. There is somewhere in the world right now, 2 women are patting each other on the back.
Especially now that it's award show season. I'm sure there are going to be plenty of women's luncheons.
So much back patting.
Women's power luncheon, knitting circles.
Like, you go girly.
But am I really supposed to believe that because of the Me Too movement and Time's Up, that everything in Hollywood is just rainbows, cupcakes, and sunshine now?
Yes, that's exactly what you're supposed to believe.
Like, it's
Through
very
the thinly
clear.
veiled corporate veneer, that's exactly what you're supposed to believe.
Actually, I haven't caught up on this. I haven't watched this episode on Candace Owens' podcast, but she talked about Harvey Weinstein just a couple days ago.
Yeah, they said she's going to start going through.
She wants to kind of do a deep dive on Harvey Weinstein's accusers and, his trial, do a post-mortem on it, and kind of the way that kicked off the Me Too movement, which was more dubious. But she's, I think, right to put a particular focus on Harvey Weinstein because he was chosen, regardless of whether you think he was innocent or guilty of any number of things, he was chosen as a sacrificial lamb for the Me Too movement.
And I think most people would say it's not that they believe he's innocent. It's that there are a million people like him that are also guilty. And they just picked one and said, there you go.
Actually, it would be more accurate to just say Harvey Weinstein was scapegoated for the rampant licentious wrongdoings of perverts everywhere in the entertainment industry, and he just happens to be the one that is now a household name synonymous with it. The rest of them, for the most part, got away with it, and then the other people who got accused during Me Too were like, hey, I thought this was our culture. Like,
he's like, bro, why did you think I got into this business?
Yeah, exactly. Like, including Brett Ratner.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with the story that he actually did Louis C.K., Olivia Munn in this movie trailer. Not the trailer, but the actual physical trailer on the set of the movie. Which he probably did. My intuition and my personal opinion is that, yeah, he probably did that. It was 2004, okay? And she's just one of many women who have accused him of similar wrongdoing. So let's just assume that he actually did that. He's probably thinking years later, oh, this is a problem now? Like, I just thought this was like what Hollywood was like. I just thought we were all cool with this.
What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to do what's his name? No, never. I'll come back to it. I completely forgot where I was going with that. Lost my like Phil sometimes. He's like lost my
It's okay.
place.
It'll come back to you in a couple hours after we're already off air. But yeah, I just don't have much patience for this anymore, and I know that most of you probably feel the same. People love dropping hints and breadcrumbing about their different traumatic incidents that happen on Hollywood sets. If you're not going to actually talk about it and out the people who traumatized you and are probably traumatizing other people, we are not interested. Like, we don't care.
Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.